seen
You
them
got
for
2 minutes, you better hurry.
You've seen them for a couple days. What's kind of been the way they've gone about things, and how good do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, we got a long way to go. We don't have right 50% of the game plan in when it comes to what we're doing. So, I mean, I like the enthusiasm, but that's to be expected. You know, they've had a couple weeks they've been pushing through practice, and this one they're obviously more excited for. And I'm sure that's going both ways.
I know stats don't always tell the story. When you look at Notre Dame's run defense, their defensive line has more prowess than the numbers. What's happened in their first 2 games where the run defensive numbers look a lot of sport?
You know, stats are overrated. I thought that especially the first game, there was some very different type runs. I don't know if they had seen those before, if they've been exposed to those, but you're talking about a guy in one pass who I recruited as an elite athlete and a really good runner, and we're different than that. So it's a different kind of run game stuff. I think people just look at rushing stats; they don't look behind it, and there's a lot more to the story sometimes than just what meets the eye.
You update on Tyson Campbell and how he's doing right now?
Yeah, he's pushing through. He's out there today trying to work and help us out, but he's mentally getting prepared, and he's not able to take a lot of reps.
What sorts of challenges does that offense pose, especially given the talent on their offensive line?
I missed your first part.
What sort of challenges does Notre Dame offense pose to you, especially given the talent on that offensive line?
Well, they got multiple formations. They got tempo. They've got the ability to do a lot of things. They have a lot of offense. And when you start looking at all the things they do, it's hard to prepare for all of it, in a week's time. And then you throw in the fact they got that with a quarterback that he can make you right every play. I mean, the coach he could call a bad call, the kid will bail him out and go scramble for it. He calls a perfect call, he takes care of that too. So it's nice when you've got a guy that can make somebody miss, whether it's a pressure, whether it's a 3-man rush, whether it's a 4-man rush. I mean, he can make you right. And that's the thing. You got to be patient because they accumulate yards. They've got a vertical passing game that's explosive. They've got good runners, and they use their personnel very well.
Yeah, obviously, Tyler was a little bit hurt, and you say he's trying to make his way back. Is that going to affect your punt return game any? Is that would you have to protect him on that?
Tyler's been practicing, so we expect Tyler to be able to go. If he can't, then Don will be back there.
What about Isaiah? Last couple of days.
I didn't see him today. He practiced yesterday. I thought he did well. I didn't notice him today because I was focused on the defense. I'll see when I go in there how he held up.
Talk about being focused on the defense. DJ Daniel, how has he looked? In the first couple of games. I guess he missed a game, but and I guess normally you would maybe want to stick with 2 cornerbacks, but he gives you a pretty good third option, doesn't he?
Well, I think all 4 of those guys have played well. Tyreek Stevenson's played well out there too. So, I mean, we want to play all those guys. We'll assess who has the best week of practices and get to play those guys. But I've been very pleased with all 4 of them.
Coach, I think new lights were installed kind of with this game in mind. Did you have any input in that or anything? And that 4-quarter tradition, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't have any involvement in the new lights. I mean, I think we've used them. If you're referencing the stuff in the stadium, the different colors, we used them in recruiting, but I didn't know that they were put in for this and that. I mean, we hope to have a lot of night games, but that's it. What was the second part?
I guess that 4-quarter tradition.
Yeah, with the lights, the phones and all. I think that's great. I think it's awesome, and our fans have carried it on wherever they've been.
Do you have a preference of time of day when you play? And I'm not asking like the Alabama thing. I just mean in terms of when the players are peaking, that sort of thing. Or would you just rather be on the biggest stage?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, I like an early game that allows you the afternoon off to enjoy other games, and I like to not play in the super duper heat because I think it makes it less desirable for the players. The night games, they certainly get better temperatures, and it seems that they're cooler longer, and they can play at a high speed for longer. So I enjoy that part too. I mean, you take what you get. You don't fuss a bit. That's what they used to say.
How big of an impact do you realistically think being at home in a game of this magnitude, the crowd will have on Notre Dame's offense and their ability to communicate?
I don't know that. I mean, I don't know how much they've prepared for that. I don't know. I know this: when you have an experienced quarterback, which they do, it's less of an impact than an inexperienced quarterback. But I do know that our crowd will have an impact. Whether it's on a lineman, whether it's on a communication of a you know, a receiver or a tight end, who knows? But they'll have an impact on the game, and we need them to, because that's the advantage of playing at home.
Coach, you talk about limiting the outside noise and all that kind of stuff, and obviously, but this week when you have both game day and primetime CBS, they're the realities of trucks pulling into town, and then those producers and stuff want set extra interviews and stuff like that. Do you get involved and try to put limitations specifically on that kind of stuff? Like you can have my players, but you got them X amount of time on this day, and how do you manage that part of it?
We have interviews with our players every week. I mean, yeah, it's a bigger game. Yeah, there's more people here, but the amount of time that we commit to those people in those groups is really the same. I mean, there's more of them, and we try to manage it for them where we applaud them for doing a nice job of bundling it together so that it's 20 minutes at this one time instead of 4 times 5 minutes. You know, so I mean that is what it is, and we've talked to the kids about that, but we're kind of used to that. I mean, the SEC, you have that almost every week you play an SEC game, you've got some kind of coverage.
This is probably the latest you guys will ever kick off at Sanford Stadium. How do you program the guys to, you know, do you late movie the night before, let them sleep in the next morning? What's kind of the routine to get to that point?
Well, we have the same routine we always have for 7:30 kick, 8 o'clock kick. It doesn't change. I mean, we're not gonna go reinvent the wheel and we're gonna go to a movie because we had a later game. So that's par for the course. We're gonna take a walk on Saturday and stretch your legs. We're gonna meet with them. We're not approaching it differently because I don't think you can do that. I think the kids have a set routine, and I don't like separating from that routine.
How much did the response to the 2017 Notre Dame game and the way that played out with the playoff selection committee figure into you saying we got to get more of these marquee series like Oklahoma?
I really don't know that it factored into it. I mean, we wanted those games anyway. Like we've been wanting that for a long time, and wanted it since I got here, and we got the opportunity to start scheduling, so we started scheduling them. It seemed like a lot of them came really more recently to me, not really since the Notre Dame win, but more recently in the last year. But what factored in it to me is you need to play on a national stage. You need to play good opponents. You need to have strength of schedule, and you don't need to be afraid of that, of having 1 loss or 2 losses, because I think that's the way it's going. I've said repeatedly that eventually some team with 2 losses is probably going to get in because they have a better strength of schedule than a team maybe with 1 loss. And I think it's better to go out and play the best games. And if you're good enough, then you should be in there.
You have weekends like this where you have so many recruits, you know, potentially coming and watching this game. How does that sort of change your sort of day before and after in terms of trying to meet with them and sort of show them the University of Georgia?
It doesn't change for us guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think y'all think that this is like, I mean, we're gonna recruit the kids that come. We're gonna have a great group of prospects that come, and we're gonna entertain them. We're gonna do a good job spending time with them because we've got more of the day to do that. And I'm very thankful that we've got this opportunity because we've got a lot of national attention and a lot of, I guess it's an attractive game for people to want to come to. So we're looking forward to that, but we're going to do what we do.
How much does it help to have the kind of staff and the resources you have on a day like that, where you've got the people whose job it is to deal with that, and you can deal with what you need to deal with?
Yeah, it's never enough. I mean, I can be honest with you. Our staff is supportive, tremendously big. I mean, all the stuff that you need, but that day, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's tough. Any big time home game for us is tough, but it's that way across the SEC because there's so many good football players within a 5-hour radius. They all want to come. So
Two more questions.
Staff's never big enough for that.
Does it help with the whole recruiting thing that you got next week off and Sunday's not right back in the lab trying to figure out what's going on?
Absolutely. So for us, we'll be able to spend time with whoever comes officially for Sunday, and that's important because, I mean, not that we don't have work to do Sunday, we do, but we have a game 2 weeks away instead of 1 week away.
What have you seen from the outside linebackers this year in terms of rushing the passer? And are you, I guess, looking forward to them getting the opportunity to go against an offensive line like Notre Dame on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they've been technically sound. They play with a great motor. I think that room has changed so much in the last, I don't know, 6-7 months because Aziz has taken over the room. He's such a positive impact. He's a great leader. Nolan is a positive impact. Jermaine has been a positive. It's just the dynamic in that room. They get along so well. They compete really hard, and they're playing at a high level. I mean, they're producing more sacks than we've gotten in a long time. So Dan's doing a great job with them.